Okay, well, last 3 weeks we've covered all the learning objectives for Unit 4. As you know, academic and professional development is a generic unit really across the management spectrum, whatever area that you are in yourself. So quite a few things in here that everybody does. So there's quite a lot of material available to you to support the different things. Now, when we started off, we covered the different learning styles, and you did get your learning style questionnaire, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, and you've done that one. Okay. And your SWOT analysis, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's part of one of the things that we encourage all students to do, whatever course they're doing really, is to set themselves up a professional development plan. And it is useful. I found it over the years extremely useful. If I put down what I'm intending to do, it doesn't always work out. I don't always get to do different things. I can think of an example is I started to do my PGCE 4 times. As things worked out, I moved companies, I got better jobs and moved on. So each of those times they were paying for it, of course, so I never completed it and then I had to restart it again later. So yeah, but a plan is really essential if you've got a career that you're going to set out to do. And although it's not, let's say it's not bound in stone, it gives you that pathway of where you want to go and how you want to achieve it. So the handout for 2.3 is there, and then we covered LO3 and LO4. I'm just going to click onto LO3. And open you up wherever you are. Okay, I'm not going to go all through this again. It's just a quick memory job.
Yeah.
Sector skills, insights in tourism. So a storyboard of what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the reasons are for it. The skill challenges. What are the major things that the industry is looking at the moment, and how you can actually put your insight into that and how you feel about it. How it matters, yeah. How much of the what percentage of the UK economy it delivers.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to improve productivity? These are some of the areas, individual areas. How are you going to engage employees? If you remember, I said that any manager or any person that's going to be in a management position, the most difficult part of the management operation is managing people. They're so unpredictable. Everything else you can lay your hand on and say, right, okay, that's done. When you're dealing with people, that is not usually the case. So there are different ways of engaging employees. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got some statistics in there to show what investment does and how it motivates people. I did a course some years ago that surprised me actually, because in this sort of period we're in now, where we're not in a growth economy, most people are being very careful about how they spend their money. And I was interested to see that the money as a motivator is about 5th on the list for most employees. I thought it would have been higher than that, not necessarily first, but I would have thought it would have been higher. But no, it is still about 5th place. Covering the benefits of the additional cost you put into motivating and training employees so that they've got the skills to actually improve the productivity. And that was that's last on there. The others are just key messages. Tourism makes a significant contribution to the economy. Customer expectations are driving the level of service, up the level of service expected. the sector needs to address the following challenges: reasonably low productivity, increasing employee engagement, reducing employee turnover, and investing effectively in skills. There are two groups of employees, mainly, historically I should say, in the industry, but that is changing now. Traditionally, there's been seasonal workers, people that only worked on certain positions in certain times. Students used to take a lot of summer jobs and things like that. That is actually coming down now because of the need for a more professional face. People are being now started on permanent contracts, and effective training is being put in to make sure they've got the skills and the knowledge to be able to serve the customer even better. But as I said, there's a lot of competition in the market now, so that is really important. So we can close you. I'll click on the level. Oops. I've got my speed back on the computer. It's been a bit slow the last couple of days, but it's picked up again. I think it's something to do with Virgin service rather than my machine. Be able to apply appropriate academic conventions in written communications. This goes back to one of the earlier units we did, the communication unit, and this is one of the most important areas within this sector, because that people connection, again, communication is paramount, so that you get the right information to the right people at the right time. And there's not a lot of waiting about, and people are being expected to do things and then it doesn't happen, and somebody else has organised somebody else. So the communication is absolutely essential. So it's occurring constantly. It's formal and informal. It is written and spoken. It's internal, that stays within the business, or external and sent outside, and it's essential for business success. So we looked at the written and the spoken, and a lot of time I think I spent on the written, because nowadays that is, or email is the major means of delivering information, and having that right and doing it correctly. I still get huge emails from people, which basically I shut down after about 4 lines. They could have either sent 2 or 3 emails because the subject changes, or they could have actually just done what it says to do on here. Concentrate on getting your message over as quickly as possible, in as concise a way as possible. So the importance of the internet communications. Operations must agree delivery dates. Finance knows what has been sold. Sales need to know what the credit limits are. Customer service must know about problems and delays. Human resource must know about the training requirements. So the whole range of communications there for you to discuss as it's asked for in the actual unit criteria. So we've got methods. That yellow writing doesn't come out too well on there, does it? Oral, video, written, and graphical. A lot of nowadays, a lot of graphics are produced on computer, and quite a lot of advertising material uses more graphic than words these days, because of the capability of computer graphics now. It makes it much more interesting as an advertisement if you can put something really smart together that will catch people's eye, and then put your message in, again, as short as possible. Again, save words and explanations, help with understanding, and provide essential additional information. So, as I said, graphics have gone from just this sort of thing here and they've moved on now to, you can send stuff to people's tablets. You can actually do charts and so forth that give instant information, like whatever the subject is, it can give you sectors in accurate detail, and it's nicer to lose. Oh, Antonella, yeah. I'm joining now, sempre meow. Okay. Just give her a second. Please come up. Antonella, can you hear me? Hi, Antonella.
Hi, good morning.
Ah, can hear you now. You switch your audio on. Okay, I just sent you a chat. All we're doing today, we've covered the 4 learning objectives. I'm just going over now the things we've done over the last few weeks, so that you just a review of what we've done, and to have a bit of a discussion at the end, just to make sure you've got everything that you need and any information or any further information that you need. I've just moved on to LO4 that we did last week now, and I'm just covering some of the things in brief detail. I'll nip back over LO1 in a minute because I want to make sure you've got everything on there as well.
Yeah.
Oops, come back. So written communications. Always apply the basics of good writing. Identify the 3 keys to email writing and identify the 5 C's of business writing. So when you're writing something, you've got to think about what you're trying to accomplish. Are you going to inform somebody? Are you going to sell something? You need to know what your audience is. Yeah. You need to know the reports need to be as concise as possible. Try to get everything on one page. I do work with students who are putting the CVs together. Even though they've got quite a lengthy CV, a lot of the information can be condensed. So we try and condense it into a double-sided page, because I've worked with employers for many years, and if it's a long CV, I'm sorry to say that with a lot of them, it goes straight in the bin. And people don't realise that, and it is really important if you're looking for a job and you're sending 3- and 4-page CVs. Most of the employers will not read it, so you need to bring that down to something that can be read quickly. And this the same applies to business writing. You know you're writing to, you need to be able to make sure that you can get your information over as quickly as possible without boring them to death. And again, a little bit on here, jargon and acronyms, keep off them as much as possible. The education industry is probably the worst one for acronyms. There's one for just about everything. Whether you can remember them all is a different matter. So yeah, 1-page reports, anticipate any questions, and if when you're actually writing something, a lot of people will put into business emails, and this is, it's okay when you're emailing friends and stuff like that, you can put like a negative comment in and then just put LOL at the back of it, and everybody accepts that. But I actually see it in business communications as well, and it's not really good. But yeah, knowing when to laugh is more in terms of face to face. Yeah. So the 5 C's are clearness, conciseness, completeness, consideration, and correctness. That last bit, a lot of things have slipped using text speak and that sort of thing, and it's gone over into business communication, and it is really, really frowned upon. Yet people still do it, and it can be the difference between making a sale and not making a sale in a lot of cases. So you really just need to be careful about how you actually, or what means you actually deliver the information.
Okay.
I think that was the last bit on there. Oh no, types of letter, sorry, yeah. Yeah, types of letter. Good news, bad news, routine and persuasive. All your advertising material obviously has to be persuasive. Routine is information that comes backwards and forwards between, it may be external or internal on a daily basis, yeah. Bad news is usually delivered not by letter. Within business anyway, if there's specific good news or bad news, as a manager, sorry? We've got some noise in the background. Where's that coming from?
Yeah, that's on me.
Okay, fine. So yeah, as a manager, normally, if it was good or bad news, I would bring the team together and we'd have a team briefing, or face to face. I usually wouldn't send information like that in a letter. Obviously, if you've got newsletters that go out on a regular basis, be they electronic or actually paper, yes, you can put your information into that, and that's when it needs to be information clearly given and in the method, that you've chosen to do that. So I'm going to click off that and go back to one again just to have a look. So we covered learning styles, visual learners, auditory, tactile or kinesthetic learners. A few graphics to actually help it along its way. So visual learners are easily distracted in a lecture with no visual aids, overwhelmed with intense visuals, accompanied by lecture. That is what that's actually saying nicely is what we always have to be careful of doing is death by PowerPoint. You can put too much up there, and unfortunately, it is a good medium to deliver online. This is why I tend to miss bits out that are not important and put pieces in, because obviously we put a presentation together from a lot of different, resources, and some of it can be distractive rather than assisting. So I will jump many a time from one to another. So audio learners prefer to hear the information, may not need careful notes to learn, often avoid eye contact in order to concentrate, and may read aloud to themselves quite annoyingly. And some of them like background music when they study. Now, again, this is highlighting that everybody's different, but nobody is usually singularly one type of learner. They will have a mixture between the two.
Yeah.
We looked at a couple of theories on that. Myers-Briggs personality, extraversion, introversion, sensing, intuiting, thinking and feeling, and judging and perceiving. Those are the different things that people have, or the different skills that people have. Sometimes, well, I'm not saying sometimes, I'm really always, as a manager, you've got to develop a number of those when you're dealing with people. So extroverts, like talking with others and taking action. Prefer active learning and group projects. This is why a lot of teachers are extroverts, because they've got that sort of personality that will talk, will be able to talk, be able to extemporise on things, and like to work with groups. Yeah, introverts obviously the exact opposite. One's not better than the other. It's just understanding the different types of people that you'll deal with. Come on, jump. That's one. Yeah. Methods of learning is some students surface learn. Yeah, they'll get lots and lots of information, relying on rote and memorisation, often exercise at the last minute. Yeah. Motivation comes from grades, in a hurry to get it over with. No real learning occurs. That's the main thing in this system, and much less likely to lead to college success. Now, funnily enough, I'm the exact opposite of that. I go into things deeper. I make notes. I'm not interested in grades whatsoever. I achieve or I don't achieve. Simple as that. I'm not really in a hurry to get it over with. I like going through the process to make sure I've got it right. So it's this part, and this is why you did your own SWOT analysis and your learning styles questionnaire. Understanding how you learn goes a long way in how you interact with others. Yeah, and if you understand how you learn, that I mentioned that before Antonella came on, to put together a personal development plan. Some of the times you can use those two documents to put that plan together, because it may be that there are skills that you then realise you are not really good at. But as I always say, everything can be learned. You want to do it, you will learn it. And if you put together a plan then that says, I must get used to doing this, or I must do that. Many people, as an example, if I was to walk outside now and gather 20 people around me and say, right, I want one of you now to actually stand in front of the group now and give us 5 minutes on a subject that you know about, I can guarantee at least, 19 minimum out of the 20 would walk away because it's the last thing most people like to do. But again, it's something that if you're working with people, if you're giving information, then it's something that you've got to learn and become good at. After you've taken the test, yeah? Do you work with discussion better, or do you work on your own better? Do you like lectures or pairing or groups or hands-on activities? Those are the things you need to look at. What you like, how you actually learn better. What's the best? Is it the interaction? Is it the graphics? Is it what you can see? Or is it a mixture? Because as I said, a lot of people are quite a mixture. I need to jump to instructors are human. It's true, yeah. You can talk to them. If you're studying in a course, talk to a classmate or approach an instructor. If you're in a class, then that you can do that. Obviously, online, that's a little bit more difficult. But always be courteous and forthright. We all make mistakes, instructors and students both. Always keep copies of your work, direct complaints to an instructor first, and, if unsuccessful, appeal in writing to the instructor's supervisor or school ombudsperson. I don't know whether you've been in touch with Eilish yet, but she is our student support. So if ever you have any problems or you're concerned about anything at all, you can usually contact Eilish in the first stage, and then obviously she'll pick up and give information to whoever needs to deal with it. One thing, I'll come on to that later. I'll just jump down here to. Again, what makes adult learners different from children? Any ideas?
No.
Children will almost always accept what you say. You're the teacher and you will literally give them the information. They will write it down, make notes, do whatever they need to do. With adult learners, it's different. You will get questions. People will ask you why you've said this or why I might give an opinion. And they'll say, well, why is your opinion? Why is that your opinion? Whereas children generally do not. That's the bottom line on that one. It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
When you're training people, certainly staff, you make or maintain the social relationships you've got. The boss says you need to upgrade your skills to keep your job. Yeah, that's quite a motivator, that. But obviously, as a manager, that's not what you would do to motivate your staff. You would, to meet those external expectations. There's been a change. We need to do this. We all need to train up on such and such a thing, and we need to improve our skills. So learn better how to service. Managers learn first aid to protect their staff. That's true. We have some students coming in for functional skills in the centre, and obviously because they come in, we need to have a first aider. So that was voted on, and it was me. So I'm the first aider for staff that come in, staff as well, but for any students that come in to the centre. Professional enhancement will motivate most adult learners. They're going to get somewhere, or some benefit is going to come from it. Yeah.
Okay.
And some learn out of pure interest. That can be non-vocational. If you are, for instance, actually, in your industry, learning a second language might be important. It can help in lots of ways. Have you gone down that route, either of you?
I haven't, no.
It's something to actually look at. Certainly in the tourism industry, if you're a manager, a second language, it can be quite important. I never had to learn a second language, even though I've worked in most of the countries in the world. It never actually happened because most of the countries you go into want to practice their English on you, so you don't get the chance. Oops, I need to roll that up. Again, the barriers to adult learning are other responsibilities, families, carers, social commitments. There actually a lot of adult learners are working. So consequently, Saturday morning like this, evenings, I deliver another course at 8:30 in the evening because they've got home, they've had the meal, they've put the kids to bed, they've done whatever, and then they've got time to sit down and learn. So barriers are quite important there are many barriers to adult learning, and obviously we need to look round and schedule those and get rid of the problems as best we can. Kolb always comes up in learning. I do teaching and qualifications, and Kolb is one of the main theorists in there that a lot of them look at today. So learning styles could be seen, concrete experience, being involved in a new experience, reflective accounts, that is more for teachers, watching others or developing observations about your own experiences. Quite often you will deliver a course or you'll deliver a lesson, and afterwards you'll sit down and reflect on what you've just done and say, well, yeah, it went okay, but I could have done this or I could have done that. There are lots of things you can actually look at in the way you actually do work yourself. It's a self-reflective operation rather than anything else. And that's quite important because surprisingly, you can learn quite a lot from that. If you actually sit and think, what have I just done? Did it work? Could it have been better? And if you work like that all the time, even though you're working with similar material, same as I am a lot of the time, you can actually develop a way of actually delivering it that's not, is more interesting. So again, abstract conceptualization and active experimentation. Those theories are to solve problems and make decisions. So, coming back off the, I'm just going to go back to Antonell. You got your learning styles questionnaire and your SWOT handout as well. And again, those you can use then to start to put a plan together as a personal development plan. Yeah. We covered L4. A quick look at that because I can't remember what it was. Oh yes, I can. I know what it is. Yeah. This is part of your personal development plan. If you don't take up control where you're heading, you'll always end up somewhere you don't want to be or didn't intend to be. You can design, create, build the most wonderful palace in the world, but it takes the people you employ to make the dream become reality. Walt Disney. That was a famous comment of his. He was a leader who actually was interested in the people that worked for him. That was in the subsequent years since his heyday. That's changed quite a lot, and companies are only in the last few years, mainly with the advent of social media, they've now got to be a lot more careful about how they present themselves, and literally this has brought it back to actually thinking about the way they deal with the people that work for them and how they're going to train them, how they're going to keep them. And because, as we discussed earlier, in the tourist industry, there is quite a high turnover of labour, and that's one of the main areas they need to develop and improve, because productivity will improve with it automatically. But again, getting that turnover of labour down to a manageable level is paramount, really, to the industry. I'm not going to go through all these again. I'm just going to pick a few out at random. If you're finding the right job, what is it that you use? Is it cost? Yeah. All the businesses that you're going to look at might tick all those boxes, but how do you actually persuade people differently? Service quality. That is one of the most important areas in any service industry, is the quality of the service. It makes the biggest difference to any operation. If they can get that right, then they'll be extremely successful. Because, as I said, it's only recently that organisations have started to look at themselves and how they appear to the public in general. How to stand out from the crowd when you're applying for a job, yeah. How to actually, what sort of words to use, yeah. The organisation, what the role is, what's required, and what the offer is. So again, one of the words I'm going to come into on there is passion. I always, to students who have just finished qualifications, I always advise this. You're going to be working for an awful long time. At least try and find something that you like doing. Otherwise, it can be hard work. So something you've got a passion for is important. If you like a specific area, then that's the one to go for, because you can add that passion and it makes a big difference to the organisation that you work for. They can see that, and those are the people that get rewarded. Yeah, it's difficult in bigger organisations. That's what's picked out. In smaller organisations, perhaps not as quickly, it will be noticed, but certainly in larger organisations, that interest in doing what you're doing is there. And in customer service, if you've not got that, then it will be obvious straight away. That passion also comes out to energy and commitment. What they're offering, what opportunities for advancement for your career, what is the reward structure, do you get any discounts? Like I said, some of the big supermarkets, anybody that works for them gets about 10% reduction in everything they buy, which is not bad at all. Incentive pay, if you've got to work awkward hours or different hours, and of course what holidays you get. Many of the, or most organisations now have all these structures in place, and they're therefore quite visible when you are out there applying for jobs. So, going to go back to there now. I'm getting a lot of sports. Can you both hear me?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Are there any specific questions about this unit now that you want to ask me before we close today?
I haven't got any specific questions.
You're okay. Antonelle?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hi, Antonelle. Oh, our audio is on. If you don't not respond, in that case, I can hope she can hear me. Again, if you've got anything that crops up, have you sent any work in yet, Chelsea, to learn a work?
Yes, I sent it to Rama.
You sent it to Raman, have you? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
If I should pick any units up for future, you can send them into. If you send them into learner work, they'll come to me directly, because what I'm trying to do is the tutors that are on. The main tutor for this course you're on is Anjum. Now, what we're tending to do now, I'm changing things slightly. The tutor that actually delivers the unit should be marking or giving you the feedback from it, and that way the assessment can be completed as we go along. So if it goes into learner work, I will discuss with Ramal who picks that up, and we'll take that from there. But you should get your feedback anyway, and then you can move on to the next unit, etc. Is that okay?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
But in the meantime, you can either email me at my email, which is phil@ukversity.co.uk, or through learner work, and I will pick that up from there.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for your attention, and I hope you've found it interesting at least, and you'll be able to manage to complete the unit and move on to the next one. Okay then. I think you've only a couple of units left to do now, have you?
Yeah, two more after this one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay then, I'll see you again. Bye now for now.
Bye.
Bye.